Rackman here. The Headbangers Ball found a little quieter, more place at the Foundation's Form 91, and I feel very honored to be here with Ozzy Osbourne. How you doing?
Great.
The new record's out, entered the charts at number 7.
Yeah, I was really knocked out about it. I mean, it's a long time coming, and people were saying, like, when's the album going to come out? But finally it got out there, and it seems to be doing okay. I'm really pleased with it.
Does it get a little bit overwhelming sometimes? I mean, now people, obviously, you're getting a lot of respect. You know, they recently had these awards that we'll talk about a little bit later. And, I mean, the album entering at number 7. And I said on Headbangers Ball a while ago that I think this next album is going to be, like, one of the biggest Ozzy records yet. I mean, is it getting, you know...
No, you know, people, you know, when you write an album, when I write an album with the band, we just sit down and we write tunes that we like. And people are coming up to me and saying, hey, Ozzy, man, this is your most personal album yet. Well, for a start, Lemmy from Motorhead wrote 4 sets of lyrics. The producer wrote 1 set of lyrics, and the band and I wrote the rest, you know.
You worked a lot with Zach and Randy this time, didn't you?
Yeah,
it's more like a band.
A band collaboration, and it was so much fun, you know. I mean, and that's the way I want to work from now on, because, you know, I'm not always right, neither are they, and we get the thing ironed out. And what we thought was right, when we got in the studio, John Pardell and Dwayne Barron, they said, it's not right yet, and they added their little bit, and then it all worked out fine in the end. And No More Tears was quite a weird thing, the way that happened. Mike Arnez joined the band, and we were finishing up doing pre-production. And we'd been writing for about 2 years. And he just got this riff on the bass, you know. I said, that's cool. And then John Sinclair came with a keyboard thing. And it was just the last 3 days of rehearsal, pre-production. We were going in the studio, and like half of it was written in those last 3 days, and the rest was put together in the studio. And I just thought it was an album track, you know. I thought, you know, they will do if they want to put it on the album. Everybody just goes, wow, man, you know, it's great. And at that point, we never had a title for the album. And I was sick and tired of calling the album, like, Speak of the Devil, No Rest for the Wicked, the Devil, this, and the Satanist. So I thought, well, you know, everybody that hears it flips out over it, so why don't we call the album No More Tears, you know?
You said you had a lot more fun doing this one, but I've heard rumors, which I hope is not true, that you're not going to be doing a studio record. Is this going to be the last studio record?
No, it's not going to be the last studio record. I don't really know at this point, Ricky. You know, all I've been doing for the last 10 or 20 years is touring and recording and touring and recording, and I would really like to have a time to say, okay, Ozzy, what do you really want to do, you know, with music? I mean, I'm not going to become like I'm not going to retire and like rock and sit in my rocking chair and look at my... I mean, that's not mine, like that's not Ozzy Osbourne, you know. I mean, wherever some action is, you'll probably find me there. But I don't really know. I mean, I've now discovered, if I do continue the Ozzy Osbourne thing, it will not be Ozzy Osbourne, it will be more like the Ozzy Osbourne Band.
Now, that's another rumor I heard about maybe you doing some sort of a supergroup thing. I'm just hearing all these rumors, just want to clear them up for me.
That's another possibility, but then again, with all these supergroup things, they last 5 seconds, because you got like 5 egos thinking they're better than each other, and you know, I ain't got time for all that crap, you know. I just want to get on with making a good album and getting on the road, you know. But I'm not going to change my musical. I'm not going to start doing like rap music or dance music or anything. I'm still going to be like heavy. But I haven't really made a concrete decision yet. My wife and I have been discussing things, you know. But when it comes time, I'll sit down and I'll really, as time goes on, because now the album's released, I'm going on the road for a long time with the band, you know, and see how things work out on the road and what I'm thinking I want to do on after the tour and it's about 2 or 3 years off anyway.
You're having a good time now.
Oh, I'm having a blast now. I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to playing tonight. You know, it's a bit late, midnight, but you know.
Midnight's a good time for Ozzy Osbourne, I think.
Yeah. By the time I get on there, I think they'll all be well inebriated or whatever.
Yeah, but that's been like the buzzword about for the past 3 days. Everybody's like, Ozzy Osbourne's gonna play. We're gonna see Ozzy. So, I think people will wait.
You know, it was the funny thing actually. The other night I was down to get an award here, and it was just pandemonium. It was, you know, leather jackets and studded belts for days here, like headbangers all over the place. And I go to the men's room, and this guy standing in the next thing taking a leak. You know, I can say that, can I?
Taking a leak, yeah, you can say taking a leak.
And then the guy looks over the booth to me and he goes, "Hi, Lars." And I don't know whether this guy's a manager, a band member, or what. And he goes, and he's really cool, this guy is. And he coolly walks out the door and he just goes, "Hey, I just took a pee with Ozzy Osbourne." I thought, do I have that kind of an effect on people, you know?
I'm just glad to know that you even had the same bodily functions as us. Well, we'll come back and talk to Ozzy in a little bit, but right now let's play the video, New Ozzy. Why don't you introduce it for us? Great guitar sound in this by Zach, I might say.
No more tears.
Ricky Rackman here at Foundations Forum 91, and right now found a little secluded place to talk to Ozzy Osbourne. We were talking a little bit earlier about your new album, and with the new album you usually go out on the road. And I've heard that you're doing things a little bit different than playing the regular arenas on this tour, right?
We're starting off doing the theatre tour, but it's not just, we're doing 20 theatres, I believe. But it's not just 20 theatres, it's kind of like an eventful thing. It's like lots of surprises are going to be there, like things well, I'm not going to give too much away, you know. It's not just like you go, you pay and sit down and watch the show. It's a lot of interesting things going to be happening. It's going to be well worth it.
Just don't want to give too much of it away.
No, but it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Now, also, a little bit earlier, we talked to a couple of guys from Infectious Grooves, and they told us what a thrill it was to work with you. I mean, I talked to Mike Muir, and he was saying, oh, he's in the studio, and he was listening to the headphones and thinking, you know, about listening to Ozzy and going in his room and turning it on, and then looking, and then you were there in the studio with him. I mean, how did that whole thing come about?
We were in the same studio, and I was in one studio, and he says, somebody said to me, Infectious Grooves are in the studio, and I said, who are they? What are they about? I didn't even know what they were. And isn't it two guys from Suicidal Tendencies and some other guys?
Now, the other night we had the Foundations Forum Awards, and you won a pretty big award.
I don't know whether it's a pretty big award. I mean, so when I'm 42 years of age and I got a Lifetime Achievement Award, I kind of got the impression that people want me to get out of the picture now. No, I was very honoured that I got an award of that, but it's a bit of a monstrosity-looking thing. I don't think I'll have it on my mantel shelf. I mean, my grandchildren are going to think that their grandfather was a pretty weird dude, you know. When they were like, well, this was my dad, one when he was 42, you know.
I just can't imagine your grand...
Skull with its eye hanging out and a guitar neck sticking through it or something. It's kind of heavy duty.
Now, you also had Rick Rubin present you with the award. Is there a reason for that?
Rick Rubin was one of the choices for the producers for the No More Tears thing, but the album that Rick had in his mind and the album that I had were two separate albums, although, and from that we maintained a friendship. We both, we're both on this same health kick, you know. And we both, it's really interesting. I got out of town and I met him there and I said, Rick, you lost more weight. He goes, Ozzy, you lost more weight, you know.
Yeah, you do in the new video. I mean, you look healthier than I think I've seen you look.
Well, I just, you know, I mean, having Zach in the band who's weightlifting crazy. I mean, I think his ambition is to lift up the Empire State Building single-handedly. I mean, he can lift like ridiculous amounts. You know, but having him has spurred me on, you know. Right. And you know, it's a kind of like a good pastime as well. I I've got a life cycle and I run and. No, you know, you gotta...
The new leaner, meaner Ozzy.
And I don't eat meat. That means, you know, no more bat questions.
Oh, that's right. We gotta think of new ones, like, did you hear Ozzy ate a ear of corn on stage? he bought the head off a cabbage. Okay, let's just take a look, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Let's take a look at the little bits and pieces of what happened with Ozzy got the Lifetime Achievement Award the other night.
If it wasn't for Ozzy, I think there's a lot of bands that would never have done what they're doing now.
He's always done his own thing, and you got to respect him for that.
He's obviously had a large influence on hard rock and I think on music in general.
He contributed chills to my back when I was 12 years old. He scared the out of me.
And his new single is totally happening too, so. Ozzy himself has shown that, you know what, it'll last if you make it.
The fact that he's still around now and putting out great music is really what it's all about. So we salute him, as does the public.
I think it's really cool that for the first Lifetime Achievement Award to go to Ozzy, Ozzy's name has been synonymous with heavy metal music as long as we can all remember. I think there's Ozzy as a singer, and then there's everybody else.
I think it's great. It's about time.
I mean, nobody else can do it, can they? Right?
Way back in the late 60s, formed a band and we played our guitars a bit louder than everybody else, and a bunch of other people did the same, and now it's called heavy metal, and I'm getting an award for a lifetime achievement. I don't know, I don't really understand that. Does that mean I can die in peace now or something? I'm very honored, I really am, but it's kind of a bit premature for me because I've still got a few stages left in me, you know, a few things left in the old legs. Somebody asked me the other day, Ozzy, if you had the choice, would you do it all again? I wouldn't hesitate. I've had a blast. I've made quite a lot of people happy, and I've made quite a lot of people quite mad at me as well, you know. I mean, like cardinals and things.